Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Kruenlin Empire's coffee break. Today, we're going to have a discussion with Justin Bird. Justin is the principal and senior project manager for Birdgroup Construction, and we are very grateful and thankful to have Birdgroup Construction as a silver affiliate sponsor for Kruenlin Empire for 2020. So we thank them so much for their support of our chapter. So let me tell you a little bit about Justin and his company. So as owner of Birdgroup Construction and Birdgroup Architects, Justin oversees daily business operations and staff. Justin's extensive experience encompasses every aspect of commercial contracting, design, and construction management. Having built an outstanding team, the Birdgroup has proven reputation coupled with excellent client reviews and referrals. So depending on project complexity, Justin's typical involvement includes consulting, contracts, and fund control. All right, I have a question about that later, just so you know. So we will jump right in. Justin, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate that. So tell us about Birdgroup. When did your company open? How many years have you been in construction? How did that all take place?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be here this morning and to speak with you all. So Birdgroup actually started as a family business back in 1994. My dad, as an architect by trade, had many years in the industry, coming strongly out of the retail grocery, decided he saw all the great things going on in construction and wanted to not just be able to design a project, but actually build it as well. So Birdgroup was initially cultivated out of that idea of design build and bringing the maximum efficiency to the client. So I grew up as a young guy on construction sites, working hand in hand with my dad and worked my way up through the company and got some different project experience and education and kind of came back to the family business right around 2004 is when I kind of took control of the reins of the company, really with the intention of growing the construction division as a standalone from the architecture side. So we've been quietly doing what we've been doing for a core group of customers and kind of building the model over the last 15 or 16 years. And now we're ready to, we feel that we've established our model and our processes and procedures and have built a solid brand reputation. And we're ready to kind of launch those services and offer those same great services to a larger customer base. So.
Very nice. So do you handle all types of commercial construction?
So we do all types of commercial construction, yes. We specialize in we call ourselves more the middle range guy. We're more of a boutique type contractor as opposed to a Clark or a Millie Severson or a type of general contractor who does hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So we're kind of the middle guy for most developers and construction managers, where they want to get all the services and professionalism and accountability that they're used to from their bigger projects, $100 million a year projects, but they want to be able to do that on a smaller scale. So we really thrive to model ourselves after those larger construction management general contractor companies and the way we operate. So whether our clients are doing a $10 million or a $1 million project, they're getting that same level of accountability and professionalism. So when I say we're the middle guy, we're looking for projects from 10 million down to as low as $500,000.
Wow, that is a large range. That covers a huge scale then from what you guys can cover and what you do. That's nice to know, because some people might not reach out to a construction company thinking their project might be too small, where in your case, that's perfect for you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And do you guys have a niche?
Yes, we do. While we're able to do also types of construction, retail, industrial, commercial, TI, kind of the Birdgroup's niche are performing built to suit, which is on the real estate side. I'm sure you're familiar with that term, where a lot of times a landlord or a developer will come to us with a potential tenant in mind. They'll give us all of the criteria, and we get involved in day one.
Okay.
And we help, we're part of the real estate transaction, giving them real data, real information that allows them to steer them in their real estate decisions. And in some cases, that's to not do a deal, or in some cases, that's to, but they're going into a deal with a realistic cost and timeline and evaluation of where the risks on a project are. So most of those are done either as a construction manager, GC, or in coordination with an architect that they may already have on board. Or we also have in-house architecture where we can perform the entire project in-house as a design build. It really allows us to keep a tight control over the design elements and the design criteria and directives, as well as cost and timeline accountability, making sure that we can commit to those real estate deliverables.
Okay. So doing the architecture and the construction then together, do you guys prefer to do everything ground up, or do you do renovation as well?
So we provide a variety of client needs. It just really depends on what the client's needs are. We do more of the infill ground up, leftover pads, or smaller scale. We're not building the 1 million square foot Amazon warehouses, but more of the, hey, I've got 3 acres in Ontario and I need something to do with it type of property. A lot of single tenant and multi-tenant, a lot of drive-through, QSRs, the service station pad. We call those pad infills on the retail side, as well as the industrial side. We also specialize a lot in repurposing and second gen of existing spaces where we've got, where we're doing a change in use, or where the great case study is a lot of these bank drive-throughs that you may see vacant. We're working with a lot of developers and landlords now to repurpose those into restaurant spaces or other types of retail means. Working with them from day one, from the entitlement process, working with the cities to tenant acquisition, all the way through to a turnkey construction product. Another one of our specialities is just general tenant improvements, whether that be on a design build basis or whether that be on a permit. We call it a permit ready, where they already have an architect on board and they're just asking for a great GC to come in. Give them the accountability and transparency that is lacking a lot in our industry.
That's really nice to hear, and it's nice to have someone who is able to do that start to finish work where you don't have to outsource. You can just stay with one individual company, and that does definitely help. So I have to ask this question: any residential construction or only commercial?
No, our roots, we're doing some residential, but since 2005, we haven't done any residential projects. The closest we would get to that would be like a senior living facility.
Okay.
So.
All right. It is, I guess, dollar per square foot. The cost is quite a lot now to do residential builds, unless you're doing 100 homes or more. It's a lot now. I understand that. So what's an average time frame for a project for you guys?
That's a great question. So there is no average project. Every project is different and has unique challenges and objectives. But if I were to try to kind of put some parameters on it, in general, our projects can go from 8 months to as quick as 8 weeks as far as physical construction goes. Okay. Now, as you guys, I'm sure all of you have some construction experience and understand that getting to a permit ready status and getting all of the entitlement and the building plans designed and approved is a process. And so that can take between 8 months to 3 years, depending on the level and the complexity of the project. I generally recommend for our clients and our prospective clients to start talking to us or a construction professional from day one. It's never too early to understand what some of the risks are and to understand the overall timeline. That's a giant pitfall that a lot of real estate professionals step into, is not understanding the timelines, and then cost overruns or not being able to deliver on time leads to what are unforeseen, but we truly believe could be foreseen issues, allowing people to make more informed decisions.
I call it doing your due diligence. So you get your team together first and you start talking with all of them from the beginning, and it really helps get things quicker to the finish line. So that's a good point, Justin.
And just to add on to that, we get a lot of phone calls of, hey, I've got this thing and I need it done tomorrow.
Right.
And so we're always in the, hey, okay, here's the process, informing the customer of, okay, here's the process. How can we help achieve your needs within the realm of possibility?
Yeah, so true. So true. So is there an average cost price per square foot for an individual construction type? If I were to say medical or apartment or renovation, is there an average? I know I mean, that's probably not the easiest question to ask, but so many people just want to get a rough estimate in their head before they start something. That way they don't waste your time by calling you going, this is what I want you to mock up for me. And then they get the number and they go, whoa, we couldn't do that.
So cost per square foot. So when we talk specifics, they become very easy. If I want to talk about a ceramic tile and what that cost per square foot is, I can quote that very quickly. Or to paint, or what asphalt paving with 4 inches of asphalt paving with 5 inches of base, what that cost per square foot would be. When we talk about, hey, what's an industrial building going to cost me? There's some huge variables that come into play. So we get that question a lot. And we really hate to quote any cost per square foot because we don't want to give somebody bad information. If we say, oh, it's generally $200 a square foot, but then you might walk into a site where the power is 3 miles away, and that could double your construction costs. There's so many variables so early on along the process. Now, we work with a lot of retailers and restaurateurs who, a Waba Grill or a Teriyaki Madness, their spec is very tight and specific, and we can walk into any general space and be able to quote within a couple dollars per square foot the accuracy of it because it's a closed parameter and the specifics are very tight. So I question anybody, or I advise anybody not to fall into that trap because it's so vague. You're going to say, well, what does industrial cost? Well, it could be between 150 and 200 square feet. Well, that's the margin of error is so large that I know the deal making and in the market being what it is and property values being what there is, the margins don't justify carrying that kind of risk on a project.
Understood. How many projects a year will your company handle?
So on average, we complete about 10 construction projects a year. Not all of our projects that we have in queue actually go to construction for different purposes. So whether that somebody will sell the property or become not cost viable, or for different reasons, projects are brought to, we're not always the contractor. Sometimes for our clients, we're the entitlement guy, or the architect, or the construction manager, and depending on, it makes sense for us to hand it off. But generally about 10 construction projects a year. But at any given time, we generally have our hands in and about another 20 to 30 projects that are in some form of design, pre-construction, entitlement, or agency approval during the course of a year.
Wow. Okay. That's quite a few. That is quite a few. So have you increased or decreased your business in the last 6 months? How has it worked for you since January, February?
Now, I'm smiling because that's an interesting question. We're all understanding how to adapt and change. We are very fortunate in that our business model has been sustainable. For California, construction is essential business, and so we really haven't missed a beat from day one through this whole coronavirus. Now we've seen a lot of changes. So on a sales perspective and a volume, we're still cranking along. We have had to shift. We saw a lot of our real estate triggered deals get kind of put on pause, and I'm sure a lot of you, everybody's seeing a lot of pause in the marketplace. But on other aspects of that, we have other clients who are kind of saw that as an opportunity to double down. On the industrial side, we have clients who are in the logistics, as well as food manufacturing, and some different kind of essential core industry businesses who said, well, let's get these projects done so that we can help with the recovery. So it's been—
That's a good outlook to have. That's nice.
Of half of our projects have been stalled and the other half have accelerated.
So have you changed the scope of what you're doing at all, or how you're doing it due to COVID? Has that affected your business in how you're working it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has to in this environment. Like, we actually had the opportunity to be on the forefront of some of the safety measures that were implemented by the City of Los Angeles and the American General Contractors Association, as we had ongoing projects going on and helping to understand how to keep our people, our vendors, and their families safe while still maintaining productivity and protecting their economic safety as well. So we now we have a COVID-specific job site safety plan, just as we have a general OSHA job site safety plan for every project. Now that has an additional COVID component. We're doing, obviously everybody knows all the CDC and county requirements. Those have been implemented and followed from day one. But it is making an impact on some of our construction schedules, especially with the social distancing and how do we put a safe amount of people in a job site? Check in, check out is a process that we have to do and monitor everybody, and that is cumbersome. So what we've been doing is some staggered start times for various trades so that we can minimize loss of productivity. Additionally, just making sure that obviously the cleanliness and those things. One major thing that has hit our industry is a reduction in an already strained labor force.
Really?
So, yeah,
okay.
What we're on the lower tier ends, we have a workforce who is not, based on the unemployment benefits that they're able to receive, they're not motivated to get up and go to work. And that's been a struggle for a lot of our subcontractors. When they bid a job with 80% or 50% skilled labor and 50% general labor, and then that general labor is not available to them, it takes a big hit in their pocketbooks. And on some of our projects where we have union contractors, the union mandates the amount of journeyman to apprentice that they have. So they can't, it's not a matter of them just being able to man the job up with a higher wage laborer or rate. It's actually decreasing the productivity of the project, which has been a huge problem on an already strained labor force. So
that makes a lot of sense. We see that a lot in every industry right now, I think, with the strained labor force in some areas, definitely. So Justin, thank you for being so candid and open with us today. I'm going to open it up for questions here in just a second, but we always ask everyone to share 5 fun facts about yourself. So I do have Justin's 5 fun facts here, and his are really unique and interesting. So you guys are going to enjoy these. So Justin lived in Central America for a year, and he speaks Spanish fluently. And I want to know, is that just like a surf trip, or was it more? I mean, what most people, was it just for why? Tell us why.
There was surfing involved,
okay.
But it wasn't entirely selfish. No, we were down there working on some nonprofits, okay. Building some churches and homes in Guatemala, and got to travel El Salvador and Honduras and throughout Mexico and some different areas. So it was a great experience.
Wow. So that's just incredible that you were able to do that. So you've driven Demolition Derby cars for 6 years. Now, are you still doing that?
No, not at the moment. I haven't completely retired, but with my current commitments, I haven't done it for about 2 years now, but it was kind of something fun we were doing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Chino Demolition Derby. It's kind of a big deal if you're from that area. Mm-hmm. So we would compete in that every year. And really the reason we did it and what we loved about it is we were able to do it as a fundraiser and to raise local awareness and some community support and financial support for wounded warriors, specific on a grassroots level from the community. And so that was really the great part about it. Smashing cars is fun, but really seeing the community to really come support the heroes that were coming home was what made it worthwhile.
That's really nice that you guys are doing that as well. Wounded Warrior Project is something I support too. That's fabulous. So you were also a certified scuba diver. Now, is that something that happened when you were in Central America as well?
Through it did happen in one of my travels down there, yes.
Okay.
So my wife and I joked we got certified together, and we were drinking a Corona while we were taking our certification test.
I think that's fabulous. Okay, why not, right? I always do better when I have a beer in my hand when I'm taking a test, always. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Yeah.
But we love getting underwater, and it's just the serenity down there and being able to see the wildlife. It's pretty incredible. If you haven't had the opportunity, I encourage you.
Definitely. So you reside in Rancho Cucamonga with your beautiful wife and your 4 kids, 4, 6, 8, and 10. How do you have time for anything else in life? And when you do come home at night, does your wife just want to kill you and go, where have you been all day? How does that work? How does she manage 4?
I don't know how, but I definitely married up, and my wife is she's the rock of our family, and she's a trooper. She takes care of everybody and allows me to do what I need to do here and excel at Birdgroup. And just be able to hold our family together, and we're able to spend a lot of family time together as well. As you guys know, being in business for yourself allows you some flexibility as well to spend a lot of family time together.
That's nice. So you enjoy being part of your local church and serving your community here and internationally. So you mean South America or Central America then as well? Is that what you're doing with your church?
Yeah, we do regular mission weekend trips with our church down to Mexico to do home builds and to serve some of our other sister church in the Tijuana area region. I did have the opportunity to travel back to Guatemala in October and do some clean water filter distribution. And so any opportunity I get to travel and especially to give back, I won't hesitate.
That sounds fun. So most weekends you say you're gonna find me on the lake with my family or in the mountains or off-roading. Any particular spot in California or out of California?
Anywhere I can get to. I love being outdoors. I love spending time with my family. We do Lake Havasu a lot, as much as we can get out there, or fishing up in Mammoth or Bishop, even just jeeping in the local mountains of Big Bear. Anytime we can, we really like to be outside and just spend our time together.
Very fun. Very, very fun. So we do have some questions for you. Elizabeth is asking, what is the extent of the territory that you cover?
Great question. So our goal is to be a Southern California general contractor. We say our target is like 30 miles of our office, but our actual is probably closer to 60, just to service the needs of our customers. So rather than be a national or a regional general contractor, we really want to specialize in servicing our clients here in the Southern California region. Inland Empire, Orange County, LA County. We'll go into the high desert as well. So.
Okay. So earlier you mentioned funds control. Do you do that yourself with the draws and managing all of that on projects? Is that a separate part of the due diligence system that you guys have in your company?
We do.
Okay.
Well, and it's actually integrated into the way that we construction manage and general contract. So
Okay.
I'm sure coming out of the title business, you've seen some lean nightmares.
Yes, I have.
Coming out of the construction process. We believe that we've kind of come up with a foolproof way of general contracting that protects our clients from liens. And that's through obviously making sure that all the vendors get adequate preliminary information so that there's no, we call them a bad prelim, And then we monitor all of our vendors and their suppliers throughout the project. And before issuing funds distribution, we require subcontractor releases, and we'll joint check every vendor down to the nth degree. We've had 5-party checks before, just making sure that all the appropriate money gets paid to the appropriate people, and it just protects our clients from those future. 3 years later, I found out that a concrete supplier never got paid on a project, and I paid the general contractor, he paid the concrete contractor, and maybe it's a sub of a sub, and somebody down the road didn't get paid, and it was a bad prelim, so nobody ever knew they were on the job. But at the end of the day, there's a lien on the project, and they have the leverage, and somebody's going to have to coerce or pay the concrete vendor to remove it.
And it becomes a mess at that point in time. It gets very messy. Absolutely.
So we very much want to be in the fire prevention department side of things, as opposed to the firefighting side of things. That's very much part of our company goal and ethos.
Understood. So another question here: do you guys do architecture only, or do you does it have to be integrated with the construction that you're doing?
Generally, we now operate architecture in support of construction. So if we have a client who comes to us and says, hey, I just need an architect, or I need an architect now and maybe later I need a GC, we'll look at the project and generally we'll refer them to some of the architects that we do know and work with. And we're focusing our architecture resources on the clients who intend to utilize us as a design build option.
Okay.
So, but I would say it's never a bad thing to give us a call. Talk us through your project, and we'll tell you if we're not a fit. We can definitely give you some recommendations of great architects that we can refer to you.
And is that free? That phone conversation, that upfront conversation that they come and have with you in your office, is that something that you guys charge for, or is that a free conversation?
Oh, well, they have to name drop NoRhett walls or crew and for free. Yes, no, absolutely. That's the initial consultation, and you know, we're in the customer service business, and we really believe in networking. And so if we're not the right fit for you today, that doesn't mean we won't be the right fit together tomorrow. So we really just want to connect the right people to the right resources, and we want to see everybody have a successful project, and more so avoid those pitfalls. And you know, I hate to hear people's construction horror stories, because it breaks my heart, because they're always avoidable.
That's so true. So true. Thank you so much, Justin, for your time today. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your support of Crew IE, and we think your company is wonderful. And anyone out there with more questions, please don't hesitate to give Justin a call direct. You can get his information through CrewBiz, and then his information also, I believe, is on our website. Thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us for Crew Coffee Break, the coffee break for the Inland Empire this morning. And this meeting was recorded, so you can find it on our YouTube channel. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Great. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Bye-bye.